In 2025, over 1,000 new AI tools are launched every single month. That's 30 a day.
Found that there are many different kind of AI tools.
There's a lot of them.
How are we, the experienced design team at Inviqa, keep up without losing our edge? Or even worse, our minds?
That's not really answering the question.
We have decided to use this year's XD Hackathon as our playground, where we experimented with AI tools across design and research to further refine our workflows and spark thought leadership. So, how did it all go?
It's been fun. I enjoyed the pizza.
Hackathons are always really fun, but I think it's definitely important that we do take those days to take a step back and not to get too carried away with new inventions and with new software and anything like that. It's very useful for us to evaluate all of that and make sure that we utilize those tools in a way that actually helps us in our process.
Part of the reason why we're doing this is to figure out when not to do it. That's almost as important as when to execute. Yeah, but I'm glad people had a lot of fun as well. Lots of laughs, so that was good.
Really great. I think it's really good for us as a team to kind of come together and bounce ideas off of each other. I think that's like the most important thing, that team element. So yeah, fantastic day from that point of view.
It can be helpful if we do lots of hand-holding. If we give it like very specific tasks and quite granular data, it can be quite helpful.
I think the way that we use AI tools is should be more around smaller parts of our sort of day-to-day job, and using those tools to either make things much quicker, or it can just be to sort of completely elevate a particular piece of work that we're doing.
I think AI tools just aren't as advanced as we want them to be yet. I feel like I'm still relying on my cognition more than anything. Your own cognition is still where it's at.
A lot of the tools, I think, is more gimmicky than practical. I mean, it's not in the very well-developed sense that it can completely replace XD designers. A lot of the tools are just good for doing drafts or first rounds of iteration, but not so much as to have a very fully fledged deliverable that can be representative of what a brand or a client stands for.
There are many of them, but it's very personal, maybe not for a whole process, but if you have something specific that because of your skills or your way of working, it blocks you, maybe AI could be a good solution for unblock that.
It's taking small parts of our workflow, some of the bits that we find boring, and trying to make those really quick, and then trying to take the things that we find a bit more interesting, but seeing how we can elevate those.
I think it can help with the initial ideation and things like that, but in terms of final product, I think it's a little bit of a way to go.
I did find that written content, I think, is really well done with AI and getting better and better still, whether that's asking for ideas in a written format or even getting it to just write copy is one of the main sort of reliable things that I do actually use AI for now.
What I found it doing quite well was summarizing of the insights and any analysis that we've already done.
If I give it lots of structure and input on my end, it can really refine it and put it together in a very polished way, which I think would be helpful in the later stages of survey creation.
It really depends on the resources that you feed into the AI tools as well. So if you give them enough context and ask the right questions, of course the output is going to be more precise. So yeah, I think it's also up to us as a designer to give them the right definition and the right fidelity of details to the AI tools so that they can give us the results that we expect them to be.
Yeah, visually it's not quite at a point where it's very useful. You're asking it to produce a visual screen. That itself, just one prompt, takes quite a long time for it to actually produce an answer.
Personally, I've also tried some prototyping tools, and time that I spend on refining those multiple rounds of prototype, it might be more time effective if I just do it myself.
We sadly cannot fix pain points of PowerPoint. We were trying to figure out a way of how to make our lives easier in making nice PowerPoints.
I'm trying to streamline our deck creation process in PowerPoint. Had a nice long conversation with ChatGPT around it. When it gets to a point of actually needing to build something editable, that's when the frustration creeps in. A lot of the time, I think, yeah, that initial setup can be really helpful, but when you actually need to produce something final that you can edit and iterate on, that's a little bit trickier.
So the area I was focusing on was competitor analysis, and I was very looking forward to it helping me speed up some parts of that process, not to do the whole thing, but to help automate gathering of some visuals for me. With that, unfortunately, it didn't do that well. So I found loads of areas where AI is missing a lot at the moment. I didn't find tons of applications that we could use for this specific area of the process.
You need to fact check it. You can't believe everything it says. You need to know how to like tweak it and talk to it. It's not just going to give you the answers like right then and there.
Have to check many times or review the prompt. So yeah, that's very frustrating because it's not so easy. It's not just a click or a question and you're going to have all the answers.
I think lots of the tools aimed at UX designers, so particularly tools around generating design systems, some of the tools to do with analysing big sets of data, they can be a bit kind of flaky, they can take a little bit of time to actually do its thing, and then you kind of have to go back and sense check a lot of that stuff to kind of see whether it's actually, you know, makes sense or not. It can be quite time consuming just getting to results that you are confident in and that you kind of feel that add value.
There's plenty of things I'd love to do, but we are kind of somewhat hamstrung by the limitations of what we as an organisation are allowed to use. I would love to be able to turn research reports into songs, like kind of catchy songs, like a sort of advertising jingle from the 1950s. That would be really cool, but we can't do that at the moment because of client confidentiality. So there's a lot of potential space there. If we can get more approved tools that we can use safely, there'd be loads of cool stuff that we could do.
AI generated imagery, videos, I think are really useful. I think it'd be super interesting to see where it develops in terms of client outputted creation. I think it's still too far. Not on that point.
Like typically, I think video creation can be quite time-consuming and costly and that kind of thing, but it can really add to pitches and presentations, and even like when you're sort of playing back ideas and things like that to clients, it's a really, really good presentation tool. So I think I see it being really, really useful at elevating our presentations. I think we can get some amazing results with that.
I think I'm interested to see how the visual side of it develops. So I'd like to come back to it. And now I think I probably will just spend more time using it as a written placeholder copy. I found it really useful. Yeah, anything written, I'm okay to use it for, but visually, probably just gonna park it for now.
I would love to experiment a little bit more with image generation and video potentially, and not necessarily for work.
I've seen some very cool demos of the video creation space, like the runaway. I think that's going to be very useful in order to add some more dimensions into the video that you're going to create. Because yeah, I quite enjoy making videos myself. So
I think it's probably everyone's going to say this, but it's like trying to make our jobs easier. I think that's the main thing.
Anything that could help is speed up that initial bit, like I was saying, of just gathering the visuals. That's something that I would like to explore more, because if we can find solution, we can definitely save a lot of time on this part.
We still have many things that we don't know how to solve faster. So I would love to continue working with the team in solutions for that.
The one thing that I haven't seen much of and like really would like to see is more Figma integrations. So like right now you get a lot of designs that are coded, but nothing we can actually like use and build on within Figma. And I think that's more relevant to what we do, because whether it's like our own cognition and research or like our own creativity with design, it still should be coming from us, because AI is not quite there yet with like original thought and it doesn't really pick up on nuances. Yeah, just seeing how it develops to help us with like the interim steps, not like the big picture.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Cheers. Thank you.
Is that all right?
okay, thanks, Jamie.
Okay. Yeah.
Good luck.